I'm a psychologist, so please keep me anonymous as I can't break confidentiality clauses. But I have to tell someone. A patient of mine told me she was sleeping with a married man and the guilt was eating her alive.
Yeah, okay.
The patient said the man was going to leave his wife for her.
Yep.
And she was like, well, I love this guy, but I feel bad and I'm like a home wrecker. And
you would feel bad, but you'd be like, oh, my happiness, your how do you decide that?
Later that week, my husband told me he was leaving me for a woman he's been sleeping with. My husband was having a fling with my patient. And I couldn't tell either of them or anyone because of the confidentiality clauses. But I need to tell someone and I just need to scream. Yeah.
What the fuck? And you can't do it. Could not.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can't.
I went to an anonymous glory hole at a house in Kentucky, and when I arrived, one of the cars out the front looked kind of familiar.
Oh.
And then it hits me, I'm in the house of a HR executive from where I work.
Oh.
I could have left. But instead, I gave him a big old mouthful full of my population paste.
Population. That is a jailable offence, that term, surely. Population paste? Oh, my Lanta.
I've seen him at work since, and there's been no looks or anything, and still to this day, I don't think the HR executive knows he's sucked my dick and had my schlong jelly in his belly. Whenever I watch Hellboy, I can't help but need to masturbate. I'm instantly damp.
What? Hang on. No, sorry.
Google Hellboy. I have never, ever watched Hellboy in full because I get so hot from watching Hellboy, I can't last the whole movie without experiencing an orgasm.
Okay.
I must not be alone because there is Hellboy and Hellboy comic strips. The fact these exist means surely other people think Hellboy is just as hot as I think he is.
Say Hellboy again. Yep.
One time I was at the movies with my friends and a Hellboy trailer came on without warning. So they didn't go to see a Hellboy movie like the trailer come on.
Yep.
Yeah,
you got to be careful. You never know when Hellboy's going to pop up.
I had to excuse myself because I never knew when Hellboy was going to pop up. My leg was shaking and I was dripping.
I love it. I'm not going to yuck your yum. If you think that this person's real hot, then fucking go for it.
Is there something in this world that whenever you see it or think about it, you're just like,
looking at it right now.
Besides me.
Yeah.
Put that tongue back in your face.
I'll take you to Hellboy.
Oh. I know what mine is.
Yeah.
When someone says that.
Yeah.
Workplace hookup confession from an orange ass.
An orange ass?
Yeah. One night at a staff party, I had a new fake tan on and I was feeling great and looking fine. After many drinks and lots of laughs, most people had left except for my boss. We kissed. And then he lifted me up and put me on one of the hot desks where we had sex, and what a hot desk it was.
That just gave me a little fanny flutters. That's quite a hot story.
Yeah. I came into work the next morning to find a big tanned ass print on the table. He picked me up in his car, opened the car door like a gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
He was fun and interesting. He paid for dinner like a gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went back to his place and he put his tongue in my asshole like a gentleman.
Yes. Yep. Yes, I agree with that. That is a gentlemanly thing to do.
The sensation of his tongue in my butt jolted me with a pleasurable shock, which would normally be fine. But this time it jolted me with the biggest, filthiest fart out of my person into his mouth. And she's like, it wasn't just like a little, it was just like, yeah. I hoped and prayed I'd never see him again until I dropped my daughter off for her first day at school, and guess who the fucking teacher is?
Mr. Fart.
I looked at him, he looked at me, my daughter ran into the classroom, and I think we're going to have to move schools. A neighbourly feud resulted in a murder charge. You know, sometimes there's a bit of like, your lawn's creeping over to my thing.
Or that big tree.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yep, so murder. And this has been submitted by a tarper.
Anonymously.
Across the street from me, two next door neighbours hate each other. So she's always like peering out the window, seeing these other two like go at it.
Oh my God. I cannot imagine being in that situation where like the person next to you, like you either don't feel safe or they were always doing something to piss you off. Like that's your house. You're supposed to just like feel so safe there.
Yeah.
And
One night, one of them had a party. So the other one called the cops and made a noise complaint, hoping to kind of get him in trouble. The cops turn up and he's had a few drinks and he starts getting a bit mouthy with the police because the police like turn it down. He's like, don't you tell me what to do. And the cops go, we're taking you downtown, mate. Like, we're going to have to put you in the tank for a few hours and disturbing the peace or whatever because he just was being really rude to him.
But also isn't like I'm not obliging to what a policeman's asked you. That's like
Obeying police
orders
instruction.
Or something. Yeah.
So they take him downtown.
Oh, and what a show that would have been alone for the neighbour.
You
know that he's looking through the curtains going like, this hole.
Got him.
Yeah.
So they take him downtown. They, run a few checks, what's your name, put it in the system. It turns out the man was a wanted drug smuggler and he committed a murder in the 80s. He changed his name and his appearance and has been successfully hiding and just laying low for the last 30 years.
Someone needs to tell this guy what laying low means.
The noise complaint was the only reason he got caught.
Committed a murder, like a real life murder.
And he was just living next door, doing his thing. They were having a dispute about the fucking lawn or who God knows what.
Yeah.
And he gets put away in the big house for like, I'm assuming, a very, very long time. And the neighbor's like, never trust a fart and never trust Toni Lodge.
I don't know why I've been dragged into this.
You'll know why.
Use your manners.
And it is actually all your fault.
Do you think it's actually my fault? I'm going to call it now and say it's not my fault.
I'm a gay man and I have a super hot new boyfriend. He has super hot tattoos. And the other night I stayed at his house and had super hot sex.
Oh, a hot boyfriend with hot tattoos. That's cool.
As a law-abiding bottom...
So not verse.
I followed proper cleaning protocols before and after activities.
Wonderful.
This morning I got up, threw on a pair of loose boxer shorts and started making coffee while my boy showered.
The hot boy with the tattoos is in the shower. You should be in the shower with him. This is the first problem. You should be in the shower with the hot boy with the tattoos.
You're already defensive because he's blamed you.
Yeah, I am. Sorry.
After a night of tushy trauma,
Ooh.
I was a bit gassy the next day. I didn't want to let out the world's largest fart, and I remember Toni's advice on how to fart silently.
Oh, that's good advice. Pull your cheeks apart. Oh. They've projectile vomited out of their bum.
I did this, and it was in fact silent. Great job, Toni.
Oh, yeah, well, I'll cop that then. That's great advice.
So you're saying you will cop that thanks to you?
Yeah, that's great advice. Taken well.
A few minutes later, the boy walks into the kitchen, looks at the ground and says, "What is that?"
Poo on the floor.
While I had successfully spread myself for a silent relief, this could be one of the most harrowing sentences I ever read on this podcast. I had also snot-rocketed a small amount of his baby batter from the night before onto the kitchen floor. And to quote Toni Lodge, I will take credit for that.
Read the sentence again.
While I had successfully spread myself for a silent relief, I also snot-rocketed a small amount of his baby batter from the night before onto the kitchen floor.
It was silent though. I don't think I ever said that you might not shit yourself.
It wasn't shit.
Was
Let me read it one more time.
Yeah, read it again.
While I had successfully spread myself for silent relief, I had also snot-rocketed a small amount of his baby batter from the night before.
So the cummies came out of the bummies. That is what happens, I've heard. My friend told me. Yeah. I mean, what goes up must go down. Do you know what I mean? Like it's got to come somewhere. Don't say come somewhere. Wouldn't you feel that coming out? Because obviously you feel a fart coming out, and if you poo, you feel it coming out of your bum. But maybe if it wasn't as tight, maybe if it was still recovering. Yuck.
Never trust a fart and never trust Toni Lodge.
That's fair. I've always said that.